Part 5. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 41. Chapter 41. It's the dog. Feng Shuang shook his head. It's impossible. I only met Fusu in my freshman year of high school. My sister has been living with me before, so there is no reason why she would know Fusu. Maybe it's to save face. After all, she knew Fusu very well, so Feng Ling must be jealous. Li Yishan nodded in agreement. That makes sense. Let's go together and leave this murderer alone. The college entrance examination is about to take place, and then her true colors will be revealed, and God will not be able to save her. Feng Shuang followed Li Yishan away, but she still felt uneasy. Why does she always feel that Feng Ling now is different from the one she knew before? Ah, Boss Su, it turns out you guys know each other. Class 9, Grade 3, Shi Xian held his head, with a painful expression on his face, as if he had been misunderstood. Fusu shrank his head, just like a mouse seeing a cat. Looking at the girl's 4 beautiful fingers constantly tapping the table, clicking, clicking, like the steps of a judge, tapping Fusu's heart. Fusu. He looked strong, but in fact he was fragile inside. The little ancestor didn't say a word, which made him feel like he was going to plant trees on the African savanna. Fusu. Feng Ling held her mobile phone, and on the screen was Fusu's itinerary over the years. Lingyang High School's top student in September a year ago, Fusu participated in the chemistry competition in the name of Lingyang High School and won the championship for Lingyang High School by ranking first in Los Angeles. Feng Ling sneered, and Fusu trembled. It's quite free, I still have time to participate in the chemistry competition. She said. Why did he tell her that he was busy every time she contacted her, but he was actually busy competing with these little brats? A college student competes with a group of first-grade children to determine that 1 + 1 = 2. It is indeed a sense of accomplishment. Feng Ling touched the medicine in her pocket that she was going to give to Fusu. What should she do? She suddenly wanted to feed the bottle to the dog. Dog. A shameless man suddenly appeared in Feng Ling's mind, and her mood suddenly became even worse. Sister Huo is indeed right, men are just big pigs and are not worth being sincere. Feng Ling snorted as if she was having a temper, then turned her back and stopped looking at Fusu. Fusu. He wants to be cold, really. The entire class 9 of senior high school did not dare to take a breath the whole morning. Looking at Fusu as if he'd seen a ghost, he tried his best to please Feng Ling. Pinch me hard, is this still my handsome, domineering boss? What is the difference between this and a sick cat? Ouch, it hurts so much, you are committing murder. Did you ask me to pinch you hard? The desk mate blinked in confusion. Shi Xian, I'm sorry, it's his fault. He shouldn't have let this idiot pinch him. He brought it upon himself. Ling Ling, ice cream. This is the 6th time Fusu has bought Feng Ling ice cream. Feng Ling likes ice cream, very much. If someone tries to steal her ice cream, she will fight them to the death. So every time Feng Ling got angry, they would use ice cream to beg her to change her mind. If one doesn't work, just 2. It is summer now, and ice cream is even more tempting to Feng Ling. The ice cream with a hint of strawberry and vanilla flavor, with a hint of white mist, is close to the skin and can bring a burst of coolness to drive away the scorching heat of the whole summer. Between the lips and teeth, the saliva was already began, and the green jade hand slowly raised, ready to pick it up, but was watched by a large black figure. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I judged with my nose that it was that dog. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 42. Chapter 42. Let's have a fight. Yexing, Feng Ling gritted her teeth and looked straight at the ice cream stick in Yeking Han's hand. You will die a good death if you steal someone's ice cream. Yeking Han raised his eyebrows. Yes, even teacher Ye doesn't want to call me now. He looked at Fusu. Well, he was indeed a fair-looking boy, but compared with him, task, forget it, let's not compare, it would hurt the child's self-esteem. Ye King Han turned away and stopped looking at Fusu. Fusu was inexplicably disliked by someone. Children, eating too much ice cream is bad for your throat. If you want to eat, you have to eat what he gives. He discovered this treasure first. What's going on when Fusu suddenly appears now? He hasn't bought ice cream for the children yet. Fenling watched helplessly as the ice cream she was about to reach was stuffed into the mouth by a dog, and she almost lost her breath. No one has ever been so angry with me in my whole life, never. Pa, Fenling slapped the table hard, and Yelimo next to her felt that her table was about to fall apart. Yelimo. She is just a commoner, please let the two bosses let her go. Fenling can no longer care about Bulletin Huo's surroundings at this moment. There is a ball of lava rage in her heart, which has spread to her limbs and bones, and she can't stop the car. Give me back the ice cream. Ye King Han ate the rest and handed a stick to Fenling. Fenling, do you believe that I your little brother? Ye Cheng. Let's have a fight. This scene can no longer be contained without a fight. She has never been a person who likes to wrong herself. Oops, I solved a nasty peach blossom and made the children angry. Ye King Han feels a little melancholy, what should I do? According to Wen Xiao's previous experience, if you get angry because something disappears, just throw it back with the same thing. Ye King Han took a deep look at Fenling, who was waving his fist, and said, wait for me. He walked to the door, called someone, and then returned to class and touched Fenling's head very gently. This time it took a little effort. The children have become wary after several times, and they are very angry. Don't be angry, anger will cause wrinkles. The whole class. How do you feel? There is an illusion that the overbearing president is in love with me. It's an illusion, isn't it? Fenling frowned and touched his face, will you? Yes, Ye King Han nodded seriously, quite seriously. Should be true. Fenling believed it. Then he gradually widened his brows and said, let's have a fight. Ye King Han. Children don't seem to be easy to fool. Wait a minute, he looked at the figure on the stairs and smiled, here he comes. What? I'll pay you for the ice cream. Ye King Han directed people to move the refrigerator to the classroom and continued to make fun of Fenling's head. You can eat a whole refrigerator of ice cream with whoever you want. Whoever dares to rob, let's fight, the desperate kind. Ye King Han felt heartbroken. Yes, the child is quite protective. But he gave him a whole refrigerator of ice cream. Doesn't this little guy feel grateful at all? Looking at those crystal clear and shining eyes, Ye King Han suddenly felt, forget it, if you don't have a conscience, you don't have a conscience, he chose it, he chose it. He was the one who insisted on joining up with others to track Ling. Ye Limo huddled in the corner. In fact, she really wanted to tell Fenling that she felt that Fenling and teacher Ye didn't seem to have the same script. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 43. Chapter 43. There is a kind of need that makes the teacher feel that you need it. Are you not angry now? I barely forgive you. Fenling waved her hand in a bossy manner, saying that she could forget about it. After all, it was a good deal for her to exchange one stick of ice cream for an entire refrigerator. Ye King Han curled her lips and glanced at Fusu. This time Fusu understood. Is this person showing off to himself? It's just a box of ice cream, what's there to show off? As long as the little ancestor wants it, he can buy 10 boxes. When Fusu thought this way, a certain uncle spoke again, I heard that you are frail and sick. Fusu. Yeah, King Han, in that case, you can sit in the first row so that the teacher can take care of you. The uncle pointed with his big hand. Fusu looked in the direction of his finger and twitched his mouth. The corner in the first row closest to the window was good, very good. Fusu, teacher, I don't think I need special care. Especially this kind of special care. It directly separated him from his little ancestor by hundreds of thousands of miles. This godly son Yeching is definitely interested in his little ancestor. No, you need it. There is a kind of need that the teacher thinks you need. What do you think, classmate Fenling? Yeking Han turned to ask Fenling, who was eating the ice cream with great enthusiasm. Fenling responded without raising her head, okay, Xiao Suzi, please be obedient and move. Although they have all graduated with PhD degrees several years ago, they still have to listen to the teacher's words, otherwise how will they do it for the children? What a role model! Fenling feels that she is really a role model of a nanny, worrying about the children every day. A certain woman was munching on ice cream, moved by her selflessness, completely forgetting that she was also the one who clamored to fight Yeking Han before. Fusu's eyes widened and he couldn't believe that the 3 or 4 years of relationship between him and his little ancestor had disappeared because of a box of ice cream. Fusu felt a little pain in his chest. At this moment, Fusu was excited and said directly, "Brother, I'll give you 10 boxes of ice cream. Eating too much ice cream will give you a stomachache." She is a good student and must listen to the teacher. Fusu, look at the 5 ice cream sticks you ate this morning and say it again. He understood clearly that the little ancestor no longer loved him, she had fallen in love with someone else, and he was now an unloved child. It's quite sad. Fusu held his skull bag aggrievedly, taking one step forward and looking back like a little daughter-in-law. He couldn't bear to look directly at her. She xin win, this is not the boss he knows, absolutely not. Don't eat too much, Yeking Han warned. Fenling nodded obediently, yet after saying that, he took another one from the refrigerator, unpacked it and put it in his mouth. Yeking Han, forget it, the child likes it, just let her do it. In the corner, Fusu shouted, Yeching, you are doting on me. Spoil. Fenling. During the break, Su Zioxi came to class 9, grade 3, to find Fenling. Her eyes were dark and blue, and it looked like she hadn't slept much at night. The injuries on the face are not serious and can hardly be seen with a little makeup. However, the injuries on the face can be covered, but the injuries on the heart are incurable. Didn't sleep well. Well, I can't sleep. My father came to see me yesterday. I didn't let him see anything unusual, and my mother probably didn't tell him either, Su Zioxi said in a low voice. After all, this matter is a disgraceful thing in Tian Hui's heart. She has always wanted to save face, otherwise she would not like Feng Shuang so much. Decided. It's decided. What should I do? Su Zioxi clenched her hands into fists and trembled. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 44. Chapter 44. I don't want to be the scissors that persecutes the flowers of the motherland. Fenling, I've thought about it, I'm willing to pay any price, as long as my parents can see her true face. She was fed up with Feng Shuang looking at her with such contempt, fed up with Tian Hui's distrust, fed up with everyone praising Feng Shuang as a god. Even if they die together, she will let Feng Shuang taste what she is suffering now. Fenling looked at Su Zioxi and wondered if the child wanted to go into a dead end again. She reached out and patted Su Zioxi's shoulder heavily, and said seriously, "Child, don't take everything so seriously. A phoenix is not worth your life and death." Su Zioxi was at a loss. Feng Shuang was planning to steal her parents from her. Isn't it worth it? Fenling knew when Su Zioxi looked like this that the child hadn't suffered much, Otherwise he wouldn't have been tricked again and again by that brainless Feng Shuang. Like Ye Qing, she rubbed Su Zioxi's head sympathetically, and said slowly in the child's innocent eyes, "Go back and study the set of papers. From now on, you only need to do one thing. Study hard, improve every day." Su Zioxi lowered her head and looked at the test paper that suddenly appeared in her hand, feeling quite complicated. "Feng Ling, when did you become so kind?" After Su Zioxi left, Fu Su came out from the corner and said, "In the past, you would not help people for no reason. First, it was class 9, grade 3, and then the Su Zioxi. Are you preparing to save all sentient beings?" The Fengling in his impression has always been a state machine that kills decisively without any personal feelings. He thought she had always been like this. After all, they were the same kind of people. "They are different." Fengling watched Su Zioxi drive away, then turned around. "We are also different." "Fu Su, are they different? Why are they different? Aren't they all the best products selected by the country?" "Hey, little ancestor, what do you mean?" Fengling waved her hands, indicating that she didn't want to explain. He was afraid that if he explained it, Fu Su would become ill again. She doesn't want to be the scissors that persecutes the flowers of the motherland. After all, no matter in terms of IQ, appearance, or emotional intelligence, they cannot compare. Fu Su felt that he was despised by his young ancestor, but he had no proof. When he went home at night, Fengling's pocket vibrated. It was a message from Yao Lang, saying that the Feng family wanted to meet Ling. Fengling thought for a while and replied with a message, "Just say that I am busy and don't have time." She is not afraid of other people in the Feng family, but she is not sure whether Feng Kang will recognize her. Not seeing her is the best protection for Feng Kang and her. If Feng Kang's condition was not urgent, she would not even take over this business. At the entrance of the institute, Yao Lang rejected Feng Yuan's request in a business-like manner. "I'm sorry, Dr. Ling is busy with work recently and has no time for an interview. Please ask Miss Feng to go back." "What does it mean to be busy with business? I sent my dad to your institute for surgery, but you didn't even dare to show up as the attending doctor? Do you know who I am? What is 0 and not 0? It's so mysterious. Isn't it just a person? Doctor. There is nothing to be proud of." Feng Yuan took out a card from her bag and threw it in front of the demon wolf. "Here is 100,000. Let Dr. Ling come over immediately. I want to see him within 10 minutes. Then just wait." The demon wolf's eyes were cold. He stepped over the card on the ground ruthlessly, and twisted his feet hard. "Have you got the nerve to give out 100,000? His little ancestor's clothing alone cost more than 100,000 yuan. In other words, Feng Kang is the grandfather of the little ancestor. Otherwise, with Feng Jiayuan's attitude, not even 1 billion of the little ancestors would take action." Feng Yuan looked at the broken bank card on the ground dumbfounded. "What's your attitude? This research institute, after her father's illness is cured, she will make them bankrupt." End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 45. Chapter 45. What you said is not against your will? Brother Han, this is Feng Ling. Wen Xiao has been very busy recently, busy acting as a human guide for Ye King Han. He is a world-famous lawyer, with a lot of cases waiting for his favor in the firm. He has made a small amount of money and reached the top of his life, but he was caught here and worked as a driver. In the back seat, the man was leaning on the back of the chair, with a laptop on his two slender legs, and the screen was full of English documents. He turned his head and looked at the girl waiting obediently on the side of the road. "Drive over." Yes, Wen Xiao had an expression on his face that I knew. "Get in the car." The car door slowly opened, and an extremely delicate face appeared in front of Feng Ling. Since King Han performed well during the day and night, Feng Ling decided not to call him a dog in secret, Is there something wrong with teacher yet? As a good student, Feng Ling's tone was particularly gentle. Wen Xiao glanced at Feng Ling in surprise. Did he remember that this girl was not so gentle towards him? Is it because he is not handsome enough? Wen Xiao touched his face and for the first time doubted his appearance. Teacher, yeah, your hands are short when you eat people, but your hands are weak when you take others. Today's ice cream giveaway. Snapped. Feng Ling neatly opened the door and sat in. Ye Qinghan thoughtfully pulled up the front window. Wen Xiao. What, is he embarrassed? Driver, drive. Wen Xiao, you are the driver. Your whole family is a driver. Shuang, is that your sister? Li Yishan walked out of the school gate with Feng Shuang on her arm, and happened to see Feng Ling getting into a black sports car. Yes, Feng Shuang looked at the valuable sports car and felt a little complicated. That car is very expensive and cannot be afforded by our family. My sister has just been released from prison. How could she meet such a person? Needless to say, he must have been taken care of by a rich man, so shameless Li Yishan took out her mobile phone and took a few photos and sent them to Feng Shuang. Send this to your aunts and uncles, especially your uncle, and let him take a good look at what Feng Ling is. It's not good, she is my sister after all. Feng Shuang squeezed her hands and looked at the photo Li Yishan sent her on the screen, tightening her fingers. Li Yishan doesn't know him, but she knows that car. It's a car from Beijing. How could Feng Ling know such a person? Feng Shuang covered her heart, the feeling of losing control getting stronger and stronger. Wen Xiao thought that Ye Qinghan asked Feng Ling to get in the car because he wanted to ask about Ling, but he didn't expect that when Brother Han said he was sending someone home, he really was just sending someone home. Along the way, I peeled oranges and cut watermelons for others, so I almost recognized them as my daughter. From a normal man's perspective, something is wrong, something is very wrong. Brother Han, I don't think you are looking for change, you are raising your daughter. After Feng Ling left, Wen Xiao said this. He leaned forward, looked at Ye Qinghan seriously and said, Brother Han, you don't have a crush on this Feng Ling, do you? No. How could he fall in love with a little girl? Ye Qinghan raised his head and explained seriously, this is called going deep behind enemy lines. Catch her heart, only then can you control her person, and only then can you find out the traces of zero. Wen Xiao was silent and glanced at Ye Qinghan with disbelief. This sentence is actually quite applicable when it comes to chasing a girlfriend. The old guy's health has been getting worse and worse recently, and he is being pursued without delay. I am sacrificing myself. Wen Xiao. Everyone in the Ye family knows that you are the one who is least able to deal with Mr. He yet. What you said is not against your own will. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 46. Chapter 46. Do you also think it was me? Ye Qinghan closed the notebook and said quietly, go back to Ye's house to express condolences to his old man. By the way, do your best to show your filial piety, after all, time is running out. Wen Xiao was silent. Are you sure you are here to offer condolences and not to ask for your life? It was another morning when the sun had just risen. When everyone had just woken up from their dreams and was preparing to go to school, an anonymous user posted a post on the forum of Lingyang High School. What happened between Feng Ling, the murderer of Lingyang High School, and her financial sponsor #. Once the post was posted, it attracted the attention of countless netizens. When Feng Ling noticed this post, it had already been set as the essence by Taibo management. The rest of the posts are all posts boycotting Feng Ling. Obviously, this was a premeditated crime. Little ancestor, whose grave are you digging? Why do people want to kill you every now and then? As a close follower of Feng Ling, Yao Lang called immediately. Feng Ling brushed her teeth in front of the mirror and slurred her words with a mouthful of foam in her mouth. I didn't dig their graves, but now I think it's necessary to dig them out and have a better conversation. Otherwise, why do the children and grandchildren of these people always like to jump on the ground? Yao Lang. Little ancestor, your picture is a bit scary. Do you know who did it? Li Yishan, Feng Shuang. The leader is Li Yishan, but the person behind the scenes. Feng Ling sneered. Some people gave her time to live longer, but she didn't want it. In this case, let's do it together. Feng Shuang was drinking porridge downstairs when he suddenly felt a strange chill on his neck. On the other end of the phone line, Yao Lang jumped up when he heard these two names. Why is it your White Lotus sister again? Don't worry, I'll let Hao Yu download the post for you now. Need not. What? Put it there, I'll take care of it myself. Feng Ling wiped her mouth hard and showed a standard smile in the mirror. Li Yishan, Feng Shuang. As soon as Feng Ling arrived at school, Xia Nian called her to the dean's office. There were a lot of teachers standing inside, as well as the vice principal of Lingyang High School. Everyone formed a circle and looked at Feng Ling with a bad expression. As if Feng Ling is some kind of cancer. Xia, sit down. Feng Ling found a chair, took out her phone and sat down, crossing her legs together, quite leisurely. Xia Nian didn't expect that Feng Ling would be like this and had nothing to do with her after something like this happened. She dragged Feng Ling up from the chair and said, stop playing around and explain to the school leader what happened. Thing. Xia Nian looked at Feng Ling, her eyes full of disappointment. She thought Feng Ling was learning well and had been convincing herself to believe her, but now, she had caused such a big trouble for herself. Today the Dean of the Academic Affairs Office has told her that if this matter is not handled properly, she will have no choice but to resign. Resigning yourself and being dismissed from the school are two different concepts. Feng Ling can do it by herself, why should she do it? Xia Nian felt heartbroken when she thought of her promise to her that she could make class 9 of grade 3 pass class 14. She would actually believe what a student who had never even attended high school said. Feng Ling is an extremely sensitive person. She knows exactly what Xia Nian is thinking. You also think it was me? Feng Ling put down her phone and spoke in a calm tone. Xia Nian recognized this look. It was exactly the same look when she asked herself if she was scared. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 47. Chapter 47 was personally invited by the principal. But this time, Xia Nian felt that he would no longer be so naive. Feng Ling, the matter has been exposed and it has become like this. Do you think you have no responsibility? You have let me down too much. She looked at Feng Ling with disappointment and said to Gao Yang, Director, it's me who failed to teach my students well. It's just that she is a first-time offender after all. Can you reduce the amount as appropriate? Since this matter has such a big impact, if the school doesn't handle it properly, it shouldn't be able to explain it to the higher UPS. Feng Ling didn't know when he sat back on the chair. On the screen of the mobile phone is the game of Battlefield of Glory. After defeating Win last time, she became the number 1 on the current Glory list. Towards the end of the month, there were too many children who were jealous of her position, and she had to find a way to keep it. Otherwise, if the 50,000 yuan was lost, where would she get the money for milk powder? Feng Ling sighed silently, feeling that she was really a competent and responsible old woman. Those 4 little brats won't be able to afford the milk powder money she worked so hard to earn for them if they don't give them a good spanking. Feng Ling. Xia Nian roughly pulled the headphones off the girl's ears. The phone flew out of Feng Ling's hand and fell to the ground. The screen was shattered. The character in the game was killed by others and his life was hanging by a thread. Xia Nian didn't know what Feng Ling was doing. She only knew that she was addicted to games all day long and didn't study well. Do you know what you are talking about? Fenling lowered her head, picked up her phone, and saved her life at the critical moment, becoming a winner. She put away her phone and looked at Xiaonian with cold eyes. At the beginning, I didn't ask you to teach me. It was you who chose to let me into your class, teacher Xia. Yes, the thing I regret most now is that I let you enter class 9, grade 3, Xiaonian was trembling with anger. If it weren't for Fenling, her career would never be like this. This is all because of Fenling. Why can't she be a good student? If you don't learn how to find a sponsor, you will be photographed. Don't worry, after the joint entrance examination, I will no longer stay in class 9, grade 3. Lingyang High School is destined to enter the national competition. At that time, the students who have entered the national competition will form a new class, led by the best teachers. Student Fenling, due to the bad impact of your bad conduct, the school has decided to expel you from school, so you don't need to take the joint entrance examination. Gao Yang is the director of the Academic Affairs Office. When Fenling entered the school, he had thousands of objections. Finally finding a reason to let Fenling leave school, he naturally wouldn't let it go. Fenling, you also know that the joint entrance examination is related to the reputation of Lingyang High School, and you also know that your grades are destined to drag down Lingyang High School. Zhou stepped on high heels with her usual acrimonious look on her face. If you don't get good grades, you have to accept your fate. Some people are destined not to be good at studying. With your grades, no school can accommodate you. Several school teachers and leaders looked at the girl sharply, waiting for Fenling to drop out of school. But what they were waiting for was indeed the girl who smiled sarcastically. Don't you need the principal's approval to make a decision? Or do you think you can already make decisions beyond the principal? A group of shrimps were jumping on her head. If the little old man Wang's Haihong knew about it, this group of people would probably have no choice but to go drink the northwest wind. Hearing the word principal, Wu Yu's expression changed, and he quickly regained his composure. Classmate Fenling, the principal takes care of many things every day, so he doesn't need to worry about such small things. I was personally invited by the principal. Are you sure you don't need his permission? How on earth does this little old man care about the shrimps under his hands? Are all of them so arrogant? End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 48. Chapter 48. How can you be worthy of your motherland? The Great Rift Valley of East Africa cannot contain their arrogance. Invited by the principal in person? Xiaonian's face was full of disbelief and disappointment. Fenling, can you stop dreaming? Where is the principal's position? What's your position? How could he ask you to come over in such a low voice? You know your own achievements well. As I said at the beginning, this Fenling has a criminal record and it is impossible for her to turn around. Teacher Xia, you should not be so kind and want to help a beggar when you see him. Now that things have happened like this, the entire Lingyang High School has lost face. Zhou added insult to injury. She originally looked down on Xiaonian and felt that she had no ability. Now that I have finally caught the opportunity, I will naturally not let it go easily. Xiaonian blushed with embarrassment and wanted to find a hole in the ground to crawl into. Fenling looked at the performance of the two and found it quite ironic. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. Fenling's eyes flashed and she said, "This matter has nothing to do with me, Xiaonian." She looked straight at Xiaonian with burning eyes, just like before, without a trace of dust, as clean as a child. However, Xiaonian's mentality has changed. She shook her head and said in a deep voice, "Fenling, if you do it, you do it. Only when you have the courage to admit it can you step back from the cliff. The way you are acting now will only hurt those who have always supported you. Those who have always supported me will only choose to continue to believe at this time. This is not blindness, it is due to the confidence she gave them and their understanding of her. And Xiaonian. Fen Ling turned around, plugged in the headphones and waved, I hope you can still do business after the real culprit is revealed. Where you go? Don't you want to withdraw from my school? Remember, it's easy to withdraw, but it's not that simple to invite you in again. I hope you can afford the price. Fen Ling smiled lowly, sounding like he was mocking them for being brainless. The little old man Wang's Haihong invited her over, but it cost a total of 300,000 yuan, and she gave him a discount because the little old man and her grandfather were friends. Now. Fen Ling whistled and looked up at the blue sky. The weather was pretty good. Let's go have a meal to celebrate the new friends who were about to enter the small vault. Behind him, the educators in the room felt that Fen Ling was crazy. He paid someone with a criminal record and his grades to fall to the bottom. The principal was not stupid. On the tree-lined road of Lingyang High School, Fen Ling bumped into a hard chest while carrying her bag. Yeching, what is this doing squatting here during the day when she's not in class? Fen Ling cautiously took a few steps back, keeping a safe distance. Huo Yu said, men are all big pigs, especially when there are only two people in hotels, woods, etc., you must keep a safe distance. Otherwise, a man will become a dog that only knows one sport. Ye King Han didn't know that the little guy had already thought so much in just one meeting. However, when he saw Fen Ling retreating cautiously, he inevitably turned dark and said, Fen Ling, I am your teacher. I know. So you don't need to be so vigilant. But you are a man, Fen Ling said seriously. Ye King Han. Is it the man who blames him? And since there are already rumors about our affair, I have to keep a distance from you. I am still an innocent young lady. If someone is really photographed having something to do with you, then how can I be worthy of my motherland? Fen Ling is quite sincere. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 49. Chapter 49. You don't deserve to live in this world at all. Ye King Han's face turned completely dark. Fen Ling, are you so shameless when you are with me? Have you reached the point where you have failed your motherland? Fen Ling nodded matter-of-factly. The school stipulates that students are not allowed to fall in love, so there are no such things as scandals. Ye King Han, he will call the principal now and ask him to revoke this rule. I will come forward to clarify this matter. Ye King Han took a long breath to resist the urge to open Fen Ling's head and study it. He chose what he chose, calmly and calmly. She is the only clue to find zero. Yeah, but I won't use it for the time being. Why? Ye King Han's eyes lit up. Fen Ling, Xiao Wang hasn't come back yet. I want to clarify it now. Xiao Wang won't pay me for mental damages. Who am I to cry for? Wang's Haihong is her cash machine. If the cash machine doesn't come back, the hero will be useless. Ye King Han twitched his mouth. He probably thought that Fen Ling was willing to be a temporary boyfriend and girlfriend with him. Fen Ling looked at Ye King Han and suddenly stretched out a hand. Teacher Ye, as the person involved, your negligence has caused inevitable psychological damage to your student. She may suffer from depression and mania in the future. Schizophrenia, which had a major impact on her for the rest of her life. Should you say something about this? Ye King Han, just ask for money. Why bother talking about yourself so badly? He had a dark face, took out a card from his pocket and put it in Fen Ling's hand. There is no password. That's great. Fen Ling pinched the card and smiled. Ye King Han clenched his fist. What should I do? I really want to get the card back. 1 million, are you satisfied? 1 million. So rich. Fen Ling's pupils shrank, and inside were a man as tall and sweet as a banknote. Well, the dog doesn't look so unlovable now. She carefully wiped the bank card in her hand and said, "Why is this so embarrassing," while stuffing the card into her pocket. Yeking Han. Wang's Haihong has been on a business trip for the past 2 days and only came back in the afternoon. The heat of the Fenling incident has risen to a level that cannot be suppressed. When Wang's Haihong learned the news, the entire school boycotted Fenling. Unrepentant, murderer, puppy love, fights, violent tendencies, all kinds of bad words were thrown at Fenling, and no one stopped her. Xiaonian stood in front of the podium in the afternoon and used Fenling as an example to teach in a serious tone. I hope you can all learn from Fenling as a lesson not to mention being a useful person to society, at least don't be a scum of society. If Fenling is a scum, then who are you? Fusu rarely spoke during class, but this time his tone was extremely serious. He stood up slowly with an icy chill all over his body, looked at Xiaonian and said word by word, "If Fenling is a scum in your eyes, I can only say that you are not worthy of living in this world." Fusu picked up his school bag and left without looking back. He usually doesn't stay in the classroom for classes, except when he's in a bad mood and wants to be alone. Staying here now is purely because of Fenling. Now that Fenling is not here, there is no need for him to stay. Xiaonian, ha! Fenling's achievements in a single field were beyond Xiaonian's reach. Fusu, due to Fusu's background, Xiaonian did not dare to teach him a lesson. It's just that she didn't understand what Fusu meant at all. How could Fenling, a person who had been in prison for 3 years, get such a high evaluation from Fusu? What kind of ecstasy did she feed Fusu? End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 50. Chapter 50, People You Can't Afford to Offend. Xiaonian was about to throw something to show her dignity, but she found that the students below looked at her like an enemy. You. Xiaonian started to speak, but found that he didn't know what to say. These children have never looked at her like this. Mr. Our grades are not good, but we have brains and we believe in Fenling. Fenling is not that kind of person, and she has never been so-called violent towards us. Please ask Teacher Xia to vindicate Fenling. Please ask Teacher Xia to rehabilitate Fenling. Please ask Teacher Xia to rehabilitate Fenling. One voice after another. Xiaonian never expected that Fenling, who had only been here for less than a month, would have such a status in the hearts of these children. I'm afraid, even Fenling himself didn't think of it, right? But, why? She is not even comparable to these children, why? Xiaonian doesn't understand. In the principal's office, Wang's Haihong looked at the two men standing in front of him, talking about the reasons and consequences of how they expelled Fenling, and wanting his praise. Veins bulged on their foreheads. You said you forced Fenling to drop out of school. Wang's Haihong feels that his temper has really gotten better and better in the past 2 years. If it were before, these two people are no longer in this world. Gao Yang nodded proudly, yes, principal, you have many things to do, so we don't think we need to trouble you with this little thing. She is an insignificant student anyway, and her grades would drag down the average score in the joint entrance examination for us. It would be better for her to drop out of school on her own. After all, what kind of success can a person who came out of prison be able to teach? Director Gao is right, I think so too. Wang's Haihong was wearing a pair of 1000-degree myopia glasses. He stared at these two thick-skinned people through the thick lenses and laughed softly. You two think that you can jump over me and let someone else do it casually. Students drop out, so I have to praise you, right? That's not enough, principal, the two of us have dedicated our lives to the school and died. Then you effing die. Wang's Haihong picked up a water glass and threw it at Gao Yang. I don't dare to effing yell at the person that labor and management work so hard to invite. You'd better just let them do it. Did I drop out of school? Can you repay me the money spent on labor? Ah! Damn it, How long have labor and capital been away from school? Are you just doing this kind of trick for me? I feel that my position is not comfortable, and I want to step on labor and management to get a higher position, right? He has such a bad temper. Wu Yu looked on stupidly, not knowing who to help for a moment. All he could think about was that Feng Ling was really invited by the principal. However, he couldn't understand why the principal would pay to invite her to come when Feng Ling looked like that. A bad premonition gradually grew stronger in Wu Yu's heart. Principal, who is this Feng Ling? Oh, someone you can't afford to offend. Wang's Haihong looked at them deeply and said, just remember, in Luo City, whoever you offend, don't offend Feng Ling. If you still want to stay in China safely. Even he didn't know how strong the backing was behind that child. But with the few known backers, they can no longer afford to offend them. Feng Ling comes to Lingyang High School, which is an honor for Lingyang High School. End of this chapter.